You're here because you've been considering creating an online language learning business. Now, we've seen some of these come out in the marketplace before, but you may not realize how approachable this is for you as a language learning person, whether you have a degree in teaching English as a second language, or you come from a multicultural background, or you've invested in your own language learning or life experience in other parts of the world where different languages are spoken, so that you have that bridge between two different languages and you could teach on that. That's a really valuable and powerful skill. And the tools are out there to create a platform where you could help others learn language. And there's also all these niches within language that are really powerful. So, for example, if you're teaching a language, there's the conversational piece. Like, I'm going to go to this country and I just need a survival crash course. It's like a spring break kind of just casual thing. I need to know about food, lodging, getting directions, being courteous, all the basics. There's that angle. Then there's the angle of, I'm a business professional. I need to learn how to communicate in business in these, in the business terminology in this particular language. Or perhaps there's other people who are trying to get jobs in different countries. In order to get that job, they need to have a certain level of command of a certain language. There's so much opportunity with language out there, and perhaps you're just lucky that you're fluent in two languages. So you already have that bridge that you could help connect people with. So if you've ever thought about creating online courses around language learning, me as an education entrepreneur, and I think about my story, I think about three things that motivate me. And one of them is just income. If you're a language learning professional, there's only so much money you can make doing one-on-one tutoring sessions. There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so many house calls you can do. If you're teaching in a school, your salary can only get so high. But what if you developed a teaching method of infinite scale, where instead of 8 privates a day, you could do 100 or 1,000 courses or classes just at unlimited scale through the internet. It doesn't mean your whole course has to be passive. You can also have, a live component, like a live webinar, one-on-one coaching, but perhaps the bulk of the material is delivered through video and quizzing and worksheets, downloadable worksheets, things like that. So, getting that income and building a real language learning business, especially on the side, like if you're in a language learning profession, but you want to start kind of dipping your toe in the entrepreneurial thing and run your own online virtual school, the time is ripe for that. And then the other thing is just autonomy. It's freedom. If you teach a language, it's really nice to have what I call the 4 freedoms, which are time, income, mobility, and then freedom to be you. So time just means, what if you just, you want a break, you need to recharge, you have other interests besides teaching language. If you can build a viable language learning business online, then you have more time to do other things, to travel, to spend time with your family, to do other things that you're passionate about besides teaching language. Income freedom. What if you get enough students, maybe you don't need to keep the day job. Maybe you can get to the point where your decisions aren't necessarily dictated on the job, or your whole day isn't predicated on trying to make money, because you're starting to make enough through your global online language learning business. Mobility is another one. What if you want to teach a language, but you don't want to live in a big city? You'd rather go live on a tropical island or closer to family, or just travel for a while. and you could take your language learning business on the road. There's a lot of people who teach, for example, English as a second language, who go to a major city in whatever country they're teaching in, and they get that first job of teaching English as a second language. But what if you could do that from anywhere? What if you were ready to go home or go travel somewhere else, but keep teaching in that market that you've developed your expertise in, and your method, and understand the culture? You can do that. That's location freedom. And the other one is the freedom to be you. We all like to learn from teachers that we know, like, and trust. And if you have a authenticity about you, if you have a way of teaching to make it fun, to make it enjoyable, to make it high impact so that people learn the language fast and they appreciate it, that's you. That's your unique method. That's your unique way of being a teacher and teaching a language. So you get the freedom. Maybe you would do things a little different than how the school tells you need to teach the language, or the curriculum and so on. Perhaps you know a better way, but you have some bureaucratic red tape that now you don't have to follow because you have your own online courses. So those are some autonomy or some freedoms that come with your language learning education. And then the last thing I would just say is legacy. Especially if you've been teaching language for a long time, you start to think as you get older of like, well, what impact, what positive dent did I leave in the world? And I'm sure you've made impact on people's lives, but what if you could do more? What if you, with your online education language learning school, you looked back and, let's say you were teaching people in an underdeveloped country how to get a job in a more prosperous country, but in order to do that, they had to learn a certain kind of language and a certain niche of that language, like business English or business French or whatever. What if you impacted and you allowed hundreds of people or more to get jobs and improve the standard of living for their family in another country, where you're helping create value and elevate the lives of others? And that's a kind of legacy where you would be remembered as in a positive light, and just your life's work lives on and creates values for generations to come. So legacy is an important factor and motivator, and that's what I've found in my teaching, in my courses, is it's really important, especially if you have kids and you're starting to think about how will you be remembered and that sort of thing. So, websites used to cost tens of thousands of dollars, and what mobile apps and all these web applications and, learning management system, hosted solutions, and all these complicated things. I've spent with my company many, many years refining that into a usable system so that you can show up and with your teaching knowledge, your expertise, and you don't have to spend, $20,000, $30,000, $200,000 on some kind of application to teach on the internet. You can come with us, and together you can partner with us as a technology partner. And when I say partner, I just mean we're going to execute a service for you. You're going to own your whole thing outright. We're just going to deliver the goods for you so that you have your platform and it's ready. You're ready to accept money worldwide for your online courses. We'll have that done for you in as little as 5 days. So what you need to do is just think about it. If you'd like to continue this conversation and you have skills, passion, and life experience in teaching language or language learning, and you're looking for that missing link to help you get that online school up and running, your own school for additional income and freedom and just overall legacy, like your school, we're here for you. Just fill out the form below and let's continue the conversation. And literally in a week, you could have your online school online. So just fill out the form below, and I look forward to talking with you further.